Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner live in San Diego, North County. Kind of brought the music down like way too fast, but it doesn't matter. I can do this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's do that again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, stop. Please stop. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. How's it going? And I think I'm on now. Hi. Welcome back. And I am jacked up on some Pete's coffee. I found some. It's not that close, but it's close enough. I'll have to buy 2 cups a trip, and that's the way it's going to be. So today, we're going to talk about, of course, the hypocritical adult pretenders who are fleeing the destruction they helped create and root on. Well done, pieces of crap. And how hard it is, for me anyway, how hard it is. It's going to be very hard to enjoy anything from Hollywood in the future because I'm going to remember this stuff. And I think a lot of us are too. That's why a lot of us in this sphere have been talking about just going back and checking out old stuff. There's plenty of it out there to keep us entertained for the rest of our lives, quite frankly, especially with comics, and we can discuss that. We're also going to discuss George R. R. Martin's Winds of Winter update-ish kind of thing that he came out with, and it does give a little bit of a hint. I talked about it on the Inquisition, but not all of you might have seen that, so I'll discuss it here. And we're going to talk about my concerns with the Lord of the Rings, because they are real. And when I see the OneRing.net start acting concerned, then we should all start acting concerned. And they're not as harsh on it as I would be. Of course, there is the Timelord Victorious storyline that's going to start through a bunch of audio adventures for Doctor Who, through a bunch of audio adventures and novels and comics, and it is a hoodwink. It is a deception. It is trying to lure back old fans way too late, just so you'll end up trying or attempting to enjoy the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, but it's all bullshit. And the biggest news of the week, aside from Hollywood, the exodus from California and Hollywood, is the possible civil war in the offices or the Zoom room meetings, because nobody's actually going into any offices, of CBS, Viacom, Paramount. Is this thing real? I kind of think it is. And again, if we go back to that article, and I talked about this in length last night, but not all of you might have seen it. I talked about this in an article in my Rotten Tomatoes video. They came out with an article the day after Lower Decks premiered, and it was Emma Watts, I think her name was, and she is now running Paramount. She used to be at Fox, and she's talking about the future of Star Trek, and she doesn't mention Alex Kurtzman once. So I think where there's smoke, there is fire. Although I probably shouldn't say that in California right now, because much of the state is on fire, but that's pretty normal for this time of year. Just hopefully it doesn't happen around here where it's hot. It's hot and I like it. Oh my God. I had 18 summers of fog and 59 degrees. And I know a lot of people like that. I hate that shit. I like my summers to be summer. So let's see who's here first. All right. Oh yeah. My birthday was yesterday. Yeah. You know what? Nobody celebrates 51. You're just like, wow, it's the beginning of the end. Right on. Cool. I'm glad I made it this far, considering how much I abused my body back in the day. So, wow. Oh my God. We have £100 super chat and a $99 super chat. We will get to those in just a moment. My God. Thank you. You're crazy. You're crazy. We got Forgotten Prime here. And we have Professor Thaskalus. What's up? It's the master. Roger Delgado, may he rest in peace. One of the greatest characters in one of the greatest shows ever. And it's so sad once you find out about the personality of Roger Delgado and how he died. Sucks. Man, does that suck. But I mean, come on, the greatest master ever. Eric K. and his wrench, thank you for being here, as always, my friend. Of course, this episode is produced by Lady Gravemaster. And we also have past Master Dan, Madison McNeil, Kega Rogers, Charles Unz, Ali C83, Geek Tropology, Proven 22 times, Ivan Ivanovich. I really wanted to start by singing California Uber Alice, but I'm just not much of a singer. Although I can do a decent Jello Biafra impression. I would love to play the song, but how un-punk rock is it to get a copyright strike on a punk rock song? And I know Jello is not responsible for that. It's the other three members of the Dead Kennedys who kind of kicked him out, took over the band, have a fake lead singer. And I know there's been a war between them forever. And I don't think Jello would care too much if people were using his music on YouTube. But I don't know. It's still run by Alternative Tentacles, isn't it? I mean, it's been a while since I checked in on Jello and the Dead Kennedys because I am an aging punk rocker. Is there anything more pathetic than an aging punk rocker? I remember when Mrs. Nerdrotic and I went to the Bad Brain show about 10 years ago. We sat in the old folks section. We didn't want to go in the pit because, again, there's nothing more pathetic than a 40-year-old in a pit. Bad Brains are a good band. Very good band. Perry Chan. What's up, Perry Chan? Hail. Soylent Green 666. Welcome. Chris P. Welcome. Rin Wesley. Welcome. Thirsteenth Warrior. Jobu's Rum. Ardent Left. Ardent Elft. How am I supposed to say that? Aaron Delft. Okay, I got it. It takes me a while there. The Southern Lord. And Tomato Sauce. Zach J. Frankie Zen. Jed Tez Toad. What the hell's that? And Charles Unz III. Welcome all to the Nerdrotic Nooner. So the first thing we're going to start with is $99 super chats. We have to go right to those, and then we will get to the Winds of Winter, and I'll tell you what I think about that. Oh, I was going to talk about this last night, and I didn't. Charles Dance wants to remake Game of Thrones Season 8, and I say they should. I think that would be, well, of course, it would be much bigger than the Snyder Cut, and I think if enough fans got into it, the problem is you'd have to kind of redo a lot from Season 7 as well. I think if you were going to go back and remake some stuff, you just wipe out Season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones, and you do 20 more episodes. You lock George in a room, and you make him tell you the real ending of the show or the book, and then you get somebody else to produce 20 episodes of Game of Thrones. Maybe I forgot his name. The guy who's doing House of the Dragon right now. Oh, and we got a Fire and Blood update too, because that's my favorite book. We're gonna cover that too. So yeah, we will start there. But yeah, I think we should also talk about remaking Game of Thrones Season 8, because I actually think you should do it. Why not? It's not like any of the actors are really doing anything. It's not like Charles Dance has a say because Tywin's dead. Which I know made a lot of people sad, but he had to go. He really did have to go. So let's start with Not a Blog. His Not a Blog. He's done 3 updates in the last 3 or 4 days. We'll start with the one that pisses me off the most, which is the book that delayed the Winds of Winter, and I think led to a massive rewriting of a book that he largely had done. If you remember, a lot of people thought Winds of Winter was going to be done in 2015, and he had set himself kind of a personal deadline that I don't think George stated publicly. But then he came out with the infamous Winds of Winter isn't done. Right around Christmas, he released, I think, his last sample chapter and said, I've been struggling with this book. It's not done. And then right after that, he goes off to write this. All right. And this is it's damn near intersectional A Song of Ice and Fire. It's still better than most things written by most authors. But for one, it's a book of, I'm into the Targaryens, but I'm more into the Valerians. I am more into the old Starks. I would much rather hear about anybody. The start of, the Bravasi, something. We know so much about the Targaryens already, and a lot of this we already read in A World of Ice and Fire. It's just more context. And most of this book is about one king, right? So, and it's clear that's what the show is going to be based on. And it's clear that this book was made so the show would have something. One of the spinoffs would have a background. So this delayed Winds of Winter, I think, 5 years. And we're still well into the 5 years of that delay. So Fire and Blood, the first volume of Archmaester Gildane's history of the Targaryen kings of Westeros, has just been released in trade paperback by my friends at Random House. If you missed the hardcover, shame on you. Here's your chance to catch up. But let me say, as I have 100 times before, this is not a novel. It is an imaginary history. Yet it still took time to write. If you like reading history, real or fantastic, you will probably enjoy it. If you go in expecting a conventional novel, you won't. Well, you know what? Everybody wanted a conventional novel, one called Winds of Winter. That's what we wanted. And if you have to say that up front, do you think you're giving the fans what they want? I would say the vast majority of the Song of Ice and Fire fans probably were happy to have something, but I would say 99% of them all of them wanted Winds of Winter and didn't want this. We have autographed copies of the new trade paperback edition available from Beastly Books. We also have some stock of the hardcover for those of you who prefer that. Check them out over here. Give me more money while I make you wait for the other book, and then shame you for asking for it. And then get other authors to shame you for asking for it. How dare you ask somebody you don't even know to finish a story that's not even really for you? That's the words I have heard from other authors. Maybe, just maybe, a lot of these professional authors have just been authors their entire life. So they don't know what it's like to work another job or to have responsibility. And maybe they don't really know people skills, stuff like that. And that's why they say stuff like that, because it doesn't do them any good. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when I hear authors speak out loud, especially during the Hugo Awards, I'd rather they just write. Of course, this book is also available from your favorite online bookseller or your local brick and mortar bookshop if they are open. Those guys don't have the signed copies, though. Well, we don't care. Happy history. And he feels satisfied. That's good. Do you feel satisfied? I don't feel satisfied. But here's the most important one. Okay. Back in Westeros, and this is August 15th, 2020 at 9:10 a.m. I'm guessing Mountain Standard Time, because he's in the mountains somewhere in a state that's not New Mexico. I actually know what town he's in, but I won't say. Somebody who lives in that town emailed me and said, I saw George. I am back in my fortress of solitude again, my isolated mountain cabin. I'd returned to Santa Fe for a short visit to spend time with Paris, his wife, deal with some local business like buying a choo-choo train that had piled up during my months away, and of course fulfill my duties to Con Zealand, which of course you were punished for, you racist, transgender phobe, whatever the hell you are, because you mocked the Oscar. By the way, yes, the anti-transgender comments he made were mocking the Oscar award for not having a Johnson. The virtual Worldcon, but all that is behind me now, and I am back in the mountains again, which means I am back in Westeros again, once more moving ahead with the winds of winter. It is curious how my life has evolved. I mean, once upon a time, I actually wrote my books out of pleasure instead of obligation. Oh, he didn't say that. Sorry. And stories in the house where I lived in a home office. But some decades ago, wanting more solitude, I bought the house across the street and made that my writer's retreat. No longer would I write all day in my red flannel robe. Now I would have to dress and put on shoes and walk all the way across the street to write. But that worked for a while. Things started getting busier though. So busy that I needed a full-time assistant. Then the office house had someone else in it, not just me and my characters. And then I hired a second assistant and a third, and I've met all of his assistants. Last count, I believe, I don't know if these were all his assistants, by the way, but I took a little tour with George on the Orville, and he had 9 people with him. I think one of them was like an agent. He looked like an agent, like tan, like, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Forgetting your name but I got to say, all the people he went on that tour with were, they didn't all talk to me, but a couple were perfectly lovely and nice. And the other ones completely ignored me, like George, which is fine. It would be an awkward conversation between me and George. I doubt he's seen any of my videos. I think if he has, somebody just told him. But honestly, I haven't been the most harsh on him. I don't think. And then I hired a second assistant and a third. And then there was more mail, more phone calls. We put in a new phone system, more people coming by. By now, I am up to 5 assistants. And somewhere in there, I also acquired a movie theater, the John Cocteau movie theater, a bookstore, a charitable foundation, investments, a business manager, and despite all the help, I was drowning till I found the mountain cabin. My life up here is very boring, it must be said. Truth be told, it can hardly be called a life. I have one assistant with me at all times, minions I call them. The assistants do 2-week shifts and have to stay in quarantine at home before starting a shift. Every morning, I wake up and go straight to the computer where my minion brings me coffee. I am utterly useless and incoherent without my morning coffee. I'm the same way. I can manage to get my own coffee. I don't know. And sometimes a light breakfast. Then I start to write. Sometimes I stay at it until dark. Other days, I break off in the late afternoon to answer emails or return urgent phone calls. My assistant brings me food and drink from time to time. When I finally break off for the day, usually around sunset, there's dinner. Then we watch television or screen a movie. The Wi-Fi sucks up here in the mountains, though, so the choices are limited. Some nights, I read instead. I always read a bit before going to sleep. When a book really grabs hold of me, I may read half the night. But that's rare. I sleep. The next day, I wake up and do the same. The next day. Before the beer bug, I would usually go out once a week or so to eat at the restaurant or go to the movies. That all ended in March. Since then, weeks and months go by when I never leave the cabin or see another human being except whoever is on duty that week. Well, welcome to the rest of the world. I mean, you could be a healthcare worker or something like that. Or, you know what? Worse yet, you could be out of a job right now because your local state shut down an economy for something they didn't need to shut down an economy for, in my opinion. Or you could have your business shut down, your live stream. But I lose track of what a day is, what a week is, what a month is. The time seems to go by fast. It's now August, and I don't know what happened to July. But it is good for writing. And now that I reflect on it, I am coming to realize that it has always been my pattern. I moved to Santa Fe at the end of 1979 from DeBoe, how do you say this? DeBoe, Iowa? Dubuque, sorry. My first marriage broke up just before that move, so I arrived at my new house alone in a town where I knew almost no one. Roger Zalanzi was here, and he became a great friend and mentor. By the way, that dude's a legend, in my opinion. But Roger was married with small kids, so I really did not see him that often. There was no fandom in Santa Fe. That was all down in Albuquerque, an hour away. I went to the club meetings every month and blah, blah, blah. He's breaking off his life. He watched a lot of Lou Grant and WKRP in Cincinnati. I hated Lou Grant. I love WKRP in Cincinnati. He talks about Fever Dream. Okay, we finally get to this. I wonder if it's the same. I wonder if it is the same for other writers. What? You mean you have millions of fans clamoring for a new book and you just kind of fuck around a lot, and then when they ask for it, instead of just writing it, you give them shit, and then during a pandemic you complain about being able to write this book that everybody wants, and you have fans that writers would kill for. You are in a situation writers would kill for, and you want to ask if other I mean, listen, George obviously is kind of a shut-in and kind of a nerd and probably not super self-aware. And I do appreciate a little bit like how utterly naively open he is on this, other than when he talks about his book. Not saying he's a naive man. He just probably is old enough where he doesn't give a fuck, which is fine. But, or is it just me? I wonder if I will ever figure out the secret of having a life and writing a book at the very same time. I don't think you can do that, not with a book like that. And I don't think a hyper creative person like you has a life until you decide to put the creativity down, you know? I think, you know, if you're a creative person, what I would say is if you get into a zone and you're writing stuff that people want, and it's kind of like, I would equate it to hitting a wave in the algorithm. You hit a wave in the algorithm. Clearly, people want to hear from you about that subject. So you should try to make as many videos as you can on it that are different when you're saying something new that people want to hear. And then they will decide when they don't want to hear it, or YouTube will decide to end that algorithmic wave, which they have done too. But you have a finite amount of creativity, and George's amount is incredible, but I will say that the Song of Ice and Fire books are the best thing he's ever done by far. They are leaps and bounds better than anything he's ever done, in my opinion. So he hit this rare thing. He hit his creative spark later in life, but it only lasts so long. So you kind of give up your life for a little while to get that going. You know, when Mrs. Nerdrotic was jamming creatively in her field in hair and going through this creative spark that was, I mean, I can't explain it because I'm not in hair and beauty, but it was like kind of legendary. And she worked all the time, just all the time. And that was fine because she had to, because you know that runs out eventually. And then when it runs out, that's when you have time for your life. And hopefully you can enjoy some of the spoils, some of the riches, some of the plunder of your creative adventures. I certainly have not figured it out to date, and nobody will, George. For the nonce, it is what it is. My life is at home, on hold, and I am spending the days in Westeros with my pals Mel and Sam and Vic and Ty, and that girl with no name over there in Bravos. All right, what's important about this? Well, he didn't mention Barristan Selmy. So maybe he's past that part now, because I don't know if this for a fact. I just don't think what I know of reading A Song of Ice and Fire, which I've reread, I don't know. I mean, especially the last two books, I've kind of, I don't know. You remember how obsessed, maybe you don't because you're young. People used to get obsessed over the Beatles and the White Album in particular, and just try to break everything and overanalyze it. I kind of overanalyzed the last two books. But what I know is Sir Barristan Selmy is not going to survive the book. He is not going to make it to Westeros. George is setting it up for him not to make it to Westeros. So the fact that he brought him up in the last post told me he was halfway through the book. So the book is going to start out with two major battles, possibly three. So the two major battles, I'm going to use Preston Jacobs' terms here, are the Battle of Ice and the Battle of Fire. So the original battle is going to be Stannis and Ramsay and the Freys and the Boltons and the Hill clans. up in around Winterfell, or in that town where Stannis is. And then the Battle of Fire is the Battle of Marine. And they all are going to have a saving army. So these two, and they kind of hinted in the Battle of the Bastards when the Vale came in. That's kind of a George R. R. Martin thing, to have an army come in and save another side that looks like it's losing at the last minute. He does repeat a lot of patterns, so it'll be very similar in both fights. Barristan's not going to make it, so we didn't get a Barristan mention here. But so he said Mel, Sam, Vic, and Ty. Mel is Melisandre. Sam, of course, is Sam. Vic is Victorian, and Ty is Tyrion. Okay, so Victorian and Tyrion are going to meet up eventually if they're both on their way to Daenerys, unless she is still off in the Dothraki Sea with the Dothraki. Sam, it's important, we left on a cliffhanger at the end of A Feast for Crows. He was basically rooming with a faceless man who might have been there to kill him. We're not sure. Or kill somebody else. And then Melisandre. Melisandre is at the Wall. She's at the Wall after Jon Snow is killed. And I'm guessing he dies unless somebody swoops in and saves him. And if you just watch the show, the book readers, again, Jon Snow has been bleeding in the snow for 9 years now. I'm figuring he's bled out by now. But Melisandre is at the Wall. Everybody thinks she's going to resurrect him. I don't. I think Jon's body goes into an ice cell, and Jon is not in most of the book, or he's not in half of the book at least. And I don't think there'll be any Jon perspective chapters until maybe the last chapter, maybe the second to last chapter. I could be wrong. But, we'll see. I'll say halfway through the book. We'll say halfway through the book, not the whole book. And then there's Arya, and now she's a girl with no name. So maybe she's completed her faceless man training, which still means he's halfway through the book. Because Arya has to get back to Westeros at some point. And honestly, she's been in Bravos for a long time now. I could only see her being there for like maybe 3 chapters more, unless she's not going to be in the book very much. So the way George writes is it's like a bunch of novellas pushed together into a big book, and they're all from perspective if you don't read the books. I would recommend the books for you, but they're not going to finish, so I can't do that. So he's still, I have not changed my prediction. It is 2023 when we see that book. So then we jump over to Charles Dance, and Game of Thrones actor Charles Dance expresses his support for Game of Thrones Season 8 remake petition. Nikolai Coster-Waldau weighs in. He's probably not down with it. Game of Thrones actor Charles Dance, who played Tywin Lannister, recently expressed his support for the Game of Thrones Season 8 remake petition, which is fucking great. It's so good. Remember how much that petition just fucking triggered so many people? The petition was created by Dylan D. on change.org and simply stated, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss have proven themselves to be woefully incompetent writers when they have no source material, i.e. the books, to fall back on. The series deserves a final season that makes sense. I agree. Dylan D. would provide an update further explaining what the purpose of the petition was. He wrote, I made this petition some few days after episode 4, The Last of the Starks, aired. I was just so disappointed and angry. It simply was me venting a bit. He continued, I posted it on the Free Folk on Reddit. It got nowhere, and I shrugged, and I went about my day. I had forgotten all about it. A week later, a coworker caught me and said when I was leaving for the day and asked, hey, is this you? The petition had almost reached 500,000 signatures. I was blown away. I hadn't checked the thing for a week, and look at how far it has come. And I think that had a lot to do with YouTubers. Hey, would you go on to he would go on to state that the creation of the petition wasn't about wanting HBO to actually remake season 8, but to simply send a message using a Joker reference from The Dark Knight. Dylan D. explained, I haven't heard from anyone HBO related. I don't think people can reasonably expect HBO to completely remake the season or any part of this particular series. Keep in mind the prequel spinoffs. It costs a fortune to shoot one episode, and I think most signers understand that. Will HBO lose gobs of money over this? Probably not. As Heath Ledger Joker once said, it's not about the money, it's about sending a message. And I think this message is one of frustration and disappointment at its core. Absolutely. He would add, the issue I have is not necessarily with what we got, it's how we got there. A rushed, laughably inconsistent mess of a season fraught with cringe-inducing, arc-slaying dialogue and everybody is stupid syndrome. We can expect that the books will describe a more sensical path towards the ultimate conclusions that we will see on Sunday. No pressure, Mr. Martin. In closing, I didn't make the petition to be entitled Whiny Fan. I made it because I was immensely disappointed and needed to vent. Do I have a solution? I've got plenty of ideas, but no, I'm not a Hollywood writer. But you don't need to be a mechanic to know your car is broken, he concluded. That is true. The petition would eventually be signed by over 1.8 million people. In May 2019, Sophie Turner, who played Sansa Stark, responded to the petition, describing it as disgraceful while speaking to the New York Times. Sophie was speaking to the New York Times, you know, the paper of the people. The paper that really looks out for the people. She stated, people always have an idea in their heads of how they want the show to finish. Oh my God, it's like they get this script from their agents to say the same fucking shit over and over again. And so when it doesn't go their way, they start to speak up and rebel. No, it wasn't going our way. Nobody had a way, Sophie, remember. It was objectively, laughably bad. And Dylan summed it up beautifully. Everybody was stupid. The dialogue was horrible. And no, Ned's beheading worked. So I love that Charles Dance supported this, though. But honestly, at the time of the petition, I'm like, of course it's not going to get remade. Of course. This is symbolic. This is just people venting. But, you think the Snyder Cut opens doors that I don't think people would even consider before. But in an age where you need to make money off a sure thing, and listen, I know they won't do it. I know they absolutely won't do it. But just imagine if HBO said, okay, we'll remake it. Fuck it. I think it would be huge. Just think that last episode, which was a piece of shit, and this was in a piece of shit season. Everybody already knew it was just going to be crap. It still had 18 million people watching overnight. So imagine if they remade the last season, brought back the cast. It would be huge. It would be huge. But you couldn't bring back Dan and Dave. Oh, hell no. Problem is, it would distract George, and quite frankly, I just want the books at this point. And it won't happen. But this does affect their prequel, okay? Because I don't want to watch a prequel in a world that ends in this shit. Let's see. Yeah, I know what Nicola. You lived in this for 8 seasons. There is still a massive community dedicated to Game of Thrones. I think there was a real fear that it was going to go away. It had to end. Yes, and it just ended horrible. And the problem is nobody's watching it anymore. And HBO was absolutely relying on this show for their streaming service. And if it ended halfway decent, you would have had people watching this till the end of time. Now, all I hear is, should I start Game of Thrones? And people go, no. Oh, God, no. More recently, Charles Dance would come out and wholeheartedly support the fan petition. Speaking with Pop Culture, Dance stated, well, if there was a petition, I would sign it. Oh, He then explained, I saw it. I continue to watch the whole series even after I've been killed off in the lavatory, but I just thought it's fantastic television show. I was very lucky to be part of it. I loved it. There were storylines where I wanted to know what was going to happen to these people. I know that the finale satisfied a lot of people. Oh, no, it fucking didn't. It also disappointed a lot of people. And I'm afraid I'm in the latter camp. God bless Tywin Lannister. By the way, every movie should cast Charles Dance. I don't know about the Godzilla movie, but he makes every movie better. He makes every movie better. He continued, you go from having one of the greatest shows ever in the history of television to becoming nothing more than the biggest jokes in the history of television, and it's just a dramatic decline. Yeah. Yep. I covered all of it. But it's time to say goodbye. This House of the Dragon series is going to be female-led, by the way. It's going to be very much a intersectional Game of Thrones, because that's what Fire and Blood is. And George, at least, is too talented to get to SJW and NPC. And honestly, there's a bunch of feminist messaging in his book that works because it doesn't come at the cost of the male characters. Now, the male characters are very deeply flawed. Every character is. The thing is, the female characters are deeply flawed too. You have, Lysa Arryn, breastfeeding an 8-year-old kid. Shit like that. So, that works. But I find myself going back to Tolkien more now. And as fun as the Song of Ice and Fire was, and it's a lot of fun breaking down the theories and going through the books. Honestly, Westeros it's fun for the political intrigue, right? But it's not a fun place to be. Everybody is horrible. And occasionally I just want to go back to that old-fashioned traditional story that is as deep as a Song of Ice and Fire, if not more, when you look into it. I spent the morning listening to Tolkien interviews, and I had never heard him utter the black speech, but I found an interview where about halfway through it, he's doing the poem of the One Ring in the language of Mordor, and you actually hear how it's supposed to sound. And it sounds a lot like German. It sounds a lot like German. So yeah, George, you're Tolkien's bitch. And I'm going to say one more. George, you're J.K. Rowling's bitch too. Kind of. George whinges a lot about J.K. Rowling because he feels that she stole a couple of his Hugos, and he kind of complains because J.K. Rowling apparently doesn't care about the Hugos, and nobody should now. And listen, J.K. Rowling's crazy. She is a nutter. I completely agree. But at least she's starting to come around and seeing that some of the people that she was placating are insane, and maybe you should fight against that. But at least she finished her book. And her book sold 10,000 times more. And I'm not over exaggerating. 10,000 times more than A Song of Ice and Fire. And she's a billionaire. And George could have been that popular too. He could have if he finished the fucking book. And we're gonna get When's a Winner. I have little doubt. Not anytime soon. We're gonna get it. A Dream of Spring, again, will never come out unless he hires a ghostwriter, and he's gonna have to do it. And think about it, and that sucks, but he had time to finish, and he chose to go to conventions, and it's does it suck that he became immensely popular later in his life? I don't think so. I really don't. So George, bless you. But I think back, I was thinking, we were just, Doomcock and I were discussing this, and it's like, what hit me harder, The Last Jedi or this? Now, there was a moment in The Last Jedi when I realized what they were doing to Luke. That hit me pretty hard. But after this was a show I was just completely into, and a book series I was completely into. I did not like season 7, but season 7 is better than season 8. Not by much, but it's better than season 8 up until the end. Let's hear from some of you guys now. You know what? And listen, anytime the win's a winner or Game of Thrones is news, I'm going to talk about it. It's a personal indulgence. So, hi, everyone. Let's see. What's up, Christian Basil? Get to you in a moment. And Joshua Trammell for $99.99. A little cheddar for you and your family. You're awesome. Keep up the great work. Why, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it for the $9.99, Joshua. Bless you, my friend. And we're the moving truck. If you go to Twitter, Mrs. Nerdrotic posted what my room looks like now. It's pretty sad up in San Francisco. It's the last day in it. The moving truck arrived at the house. It's on its way down, and it will be here tomorrow. And I have a cable guy coming in like 3 hours to fix my internet. But then, we're officially moving in, and the office is going to start being constructed tomorrow. So hopefully it'll be done. I don't think it'll be done by Friday Night Tights, but next Friday Night Tights for sure. It's going to be awesome. I have it visualized in my head. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll see. Marvel 2099. I love the 2099 line, by the way. I liked Ghost Rider 2099. That would make it wasn't a very good comic, but it would make a great video game. Ghost Rider 2099. Read it. 100 pounds. Happy birthday again for yesterday. Hopefully things are going better for you and your family. Thanks for the stream, even though it was your birthday and streaming with Az. It was fun streaming with Az. I loved it. Thank you, Marvel 2099. And I had a good birthday stream last night. We are going to discuss the Hollywood celebs bailing out of a situation that they brought on and stay the fuck gone at this point. And it sucks that they're leaving. I'm leaving too, and they might go to the state. A lot of them are moving to Texas because Elon's moving to Texas. Now, Elon is an addition to Texas. That is a good thing. Elon knows what's up. You want him there. He's a businessman. He likes to make money, and he will create thousands of jobs for that state. So that's brilliant. And I can tell you right now, Tesla, as far as corporations go, is the best corporation you want to work for. It flat out is. Now, I had a little personality struggle with a boss at my location, but that's more of my hangups. I don't like, I'm really not, I've got a prejudice against grown men with ponytails who wear them all the time. And I was hired on there to do a job, and the manager who hired me bailed, and then another one came in and then changed the plan like every week. And it just became a frustrating experience. But overall, it was awesome. The benefits were free. You get stock, which that's pretty good right now. And you get like full package benefits. You get health, dental, vision, and you pay zip. You can add a family member, and I think it's like nothing. These were like insanely good benefits. So for that alone, and it's a fun place to work. They want you to work hard when you're there, but you can negotiate your deal when you walk in. So there's at least with me, there wasn't. There's no like, you have to work here a year to get a week vacation. No, I came in and I said, I want 3 weeks vacation. They gave it to me. And I asked for a certain price an hour, and they gave it to me. I was very shocked. But it was a cool place to work for corporate America. Just this YouTube thing came up. I probably would have transferred if the YouTube thing wasn't going on. I probably would have transferred. I was commuting to work to San Rafael, which wasn't bad, but nothing bad to say about Elon though. They would stop work for a launch of SpaceX, and we go watch the monitors and watch the launch of SpaceX, and they fed you like twice a week. They'd feed you. Yeah, that was pretty dope. They tried to treat you right. Who did I meet there? I can't remember what rock star. Oh, Kirk Hammett. Kirk Hammett and John Lasseter at that work. They both took their cars to that location. CB News and Reviews for $20. Caught up with your stream on Nerdrotic Live. You guys at Friday Night Tights have inspired me to show the younger gen older stuff. Film reactions and reviews per decade. Start with the 1950s. Got Forbidden Planet next week. Hope you all check it out. Yeah, CB News and Reviews, what you want to do when you're starting out a channel is you start with what you want to do. But then the audience will decide what they want from you. And then you try to find that happy medium, because you don't want to cover stuff you're not interested in, because the audience will kind of see through that. If you're just one of those channels that just, unless you're really good at kind of forming an opinion on everything, which like Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers and The Quartering are both very good at having a pretty solid opinion on anything that comes up, and I think they genuinely do care. I know Jeremy does. He gets that worked up. I mean, I don't get worked up over everything. I kind of, I choose my battles. I don't have that much energy anymore. Romulo Garcia for $4.99. Hail, Gary. Have you seen the sci-fi show Krypton? Yes. It came out a few years ago. If so, what were your thoughts on it? It was horrible, and I reviewed it. If you dig very deep on this channel, you will find Krypton reviews. And I was okay with it at first until the 105-pound girls were regularly beating the shit out of 300-pound guys and like flipping them over their back, or flipping them. Like they grab an arm and go, and the guy would like flip in the air, and they don't have powers on Krypton. All right. And they they race swapped Zod, which was okay. I was fine with that. But it was silly. It was just fucking silly. And it was, oh my God, why am I spacing on his name now? Oh, he wrote The Dark Knight with Chris Nolan. And he wrote Krypton, and he directed Blade 3. And I know this guy because I hate him. And now I can't think of his name. Now I'm going to have to go look. Oh, Blade. Because he's the one who produced Krypton. Oh, yes, David S. Goyer. David S. Goyer is a hack. Absolute hack. Through DC, he kind of glommed on to The Dark Knight and Batman Begins, but that was Nolan. And Nolan can make, dude, if Kurtzman worked with Nolan, there will be a script that would be at least watchable. Okay. Nolan would just take over. And David S. Goyer is only slightly better than Alex Kurtzman in my eyes. I think he's garbage. And he also threw Wesley Snipes under the bus. Wesley got a bad rap over Blade 3. He would stay in his trailer and stuff, and they would shoot scenes without him with the stuntman, which they weren't supposed to do, by the way. And Snipes was a producer on that movie, but Goyer was ratting him out to Warner Brothers top brass. Such a jackass. All right. So, oh my God. I was watching right before the live stream. There's a video here. You want to just get instantly triggered? Let's do it together. Here we go. They're talking about Lovecraft Country. Okay. So Lovecraft Country, which is a show on HBO, and it's about you're taking H.P. Lovecraft's creatures and you're using them to kill bad white people, basically. Oh, shit. Let me get my speakers on. There we go.
Out from for so long. And I think the conversation that, in synth genre and reimagine country is
discussions about this genre that lends itself to discussions about social. What is it about sci-fi horror about this genre that lends itself to discussions about social injustice, about racial injustice.
Lovecraft Country is deconstructing this classic genre and reimagining it in a very bold and audacious way, and centering Black voices in a genre that we've been shut out from for so long. And I think the conversation that we, as, the globe is having, the BLM protests internationally, we're fighting two pandemics right now because the systemic racism that this nation and other nations have been built upon is yet to be dismantled. We've yet to heal from it.
It's wide enough to carry it, and it doesn't make people uncomfortable, right? I mean, we divide ourselves here in America, red or blue, you're Republican or Democrat. You separate yourself, right? You watch CNN, you watch Fox, you watch MSNBC. We have all these camps. Genre takes all those ideas and puts them all under the same filter, right?
Oh, really? Does it? Well, it used to. I'm going to take a look at this series because I don't know, because I didn't see it. But so we need to dismantle the systemic racism, which is a construct. How do you dismantle a construct that is based on an opinion? You can't do it by, you hear that language, deconstruct a system. That exposes what they are now. Now, are we talking about sitting at a table and discussing things and coming to finding common ground? No. Are we talking about uniting? No, we're talking about breaking something down and replacing it with something else based on a construct. Based on your opinion. It's your perspective. I am certain Miss Smollett's perspective is different than mine. And I'm sure there would be common ground if we sat down and genuinely at a table to talk about any compromise. But that's not happening. That's eventually what's going to have to happen, by the way. No matter what, civil war, fight, battle, skirmish, you eventually have to sit down and talk. That's it. Or somebody just brutally takes over. And that doesn't help anything, which isn't going to happen here. It's just not going to happen. The common sense does have the numbers. We're just very quiet right now. We can't be for much longer. But she might know a lot about that because her brother was the one who completely faked getting attacked, by the MAGA dudes who live in Chicago and attack people going to Subway at 2:00 in the morning in 18 degree weather. So, and why do you think she's getting gigs right now? I mean, she's an attractive girl, but there's no shortage of that in the world. And she was just breathtaking in Birds of Prey. So apparently that genre has been keeping people out. And, I would argue that, who are the gatekeepers? Hollywood. So has Hollywood been keeping people out for years? Oh, yeah. Most fucking definitely. But they make it sound like it's the populace, it's the public, it's the system. No, it's the Hollywood system. Certainly. Absolutely. Of late, I don't know. I don't think so. But, back in the 50s and 60s, sure. But it's 2020. So this is just basic bitch stuff, just like Watchmen was. And, of course, HBO greenlights this, hoping they will just be showered with praise. Thankfully, we're in a new era. HBO's kind of resting on their laurels. This used to work for them quite a bit. They would have a series that would be critically acclaimed. It'd win a lot of awards. And that would matter 10, 15 years ago. That shit doesn't matter now. Nobody, as a matter of fact, if something wins an award, it might hurt it. Because people do not like the award shows anymore. They don't watch them anymore. They've turned into, what I said in my video, just platforms. Platforms for people to tell you how to live. So Miss Smollett, sorry, hate crime, I mispronounced her name, was wearing very expensive clothing while wearing very expensive makeup. I'm sure her jewelry could pay some poor family's rent for a couple months. So she's all about that system. You know, you know what? And I'm going to call her out. If you're really all about the BLM Marxism or whatever, rip off that makeup and intersectionality, take that makeup off. Take that makeup off and start, you know, and don't do your hair. Wear your gray uniform. You fucking hypocrite. She cashed a big fucking paycheck for this, didn't she? To say that a system needs to get deconstructed that gave her that job where she got a big fucking paycheck where she can criticize the government or a system whenever she wants. And that's a brilliant system. That's not a system that you should think about bringing down. Absolutely think this show could exist or should exist. By all means. By all means. It doesn't matter. I mean, if I don't like it, I don't have to watch it. But the politics behind it that are now antithetical to your business model, Hollywood and HBO. So now we have celebrities fleeing fucking Hollywood after they were rooting on the BLM. And listen, we need to make that distinction. There's a statement that is BLM, and then there's an organization that is BLM. Just like there is LGBTQ individual people who just happen to identify or love somebody different than you or somebody else, individual people. And then there's the LGBTQ organization, distinct. And when that gets conflated and confused, then they are able to call you an ist or a phobe because, and sure, they're out there, not saying they're not. But when you are criticizing the politics, because those organizations tend to be very partisan, if those organizations weren't partisan, people wouldn't look at them as political positions, but they are. They are. Hiding behind something else. So when you have to hide your politics, when you have to lie about your politics and manipulate, they're probably not politics you think you can sell to the public, because you can't, because they're not into it. Because the elites want the state to run shit, yet and they think they'll be exempt. And they might be. I don't know. Probably. But when she has that interview there, right, in her expensive clothes and her expensive jewelry, and that show looked like it cost them millions to make, and then the assholes within it are talking about breaking down your system, the one where you go to work 9 to 5, and you're just busting your ass to pay the bills to go enjoy some entertainment, and all of a sudden the dancing clowns want to tell you how to live, want to tell you how to fucking run your life. And now they want to tell you that you've always been a racist. Your system is bad. We want to tear it down. We want to take your money. We want to take your fucking property. Yet we still want to pretend in our fucking show. Get fucked. I mean, they're dumb, okay? Actors are fucking dumb. I know that. And it infuriates me. But I understand that these are uneducated, dumb people. All the actors, whatever color they are, wherever their backgrounds are. You pretend for a living. So I'm guessing you're not that intelligent. There are some very intelligent actors out there. They don't say shit like that. So, I mean, if you want to watch Lovecraft Country, go ahead. But basically the gist is just like the Twilight Zone. It's horror. It's a horror genre with only about stories about black people, and then all the bad guys are going to be white guys, not the monsters. The monsters aren't going to be the bad guys. The real monsters are going to be the white guys. I don't know how many times you can tell that story. I mean, shit. Twilight Zone, the movie, had a story about racism in the beginning in 1983. It wasn't the best story in the movie. It was kind of on the nose and basic, and 3 people died during the making of it, but it was okay. It was okay. It sent a message. And we're still telling that same story today. Is it because nothing has changed? No. No, we have progressed quite a bit from 1983. And a lot of this is the perspective of the young. There's a lot of young people involved in the production of this, although there's some old folks around who's, some of us who've been around since 83, we have seen the change in California. We have seen the change in society. Again, is it perfect? No, it won't be in our lifetime. But if we just tear everything down, it will just go backwards. It will get much worse. And Hollywood taking part in this with glee, and then now they're leaving Hollywood. You pieces of shit. At least they should be here to suffer the consequences from their actions. I would hope that would happen. So if California can invent a tax where you can tax people retroactively 10 years back who leave your state, can another state pass a law stating that if you're a Californian, you're not allowed to vote for 10 years? Because, I'd like that. And I wasn't even supposed to talk about that. It just came across and kind of triggered me. And I can't listen. So is the sci-fi genre, isn't it just perfect to talk about social justice and systematic racism? Yes and no. What it's supposed to do is tell you an entertaining story or a scary story, and then there might be a little bit of messaging in it. And this is where Hollywood has completely lost its way. All of a sudden, the message came before the character and the story. And this is why, Just Some Guy put it in 2 videos ago. He put it in the beginning. Just Some Guy knows his Tolkien. Tolkien hates allegories in all its forms. And this is the reason why. Now, when you talk to anybody related to Star Trek, all they'll ever fucking talk about is how diverse it was and how socially progressive it was, when it was just a space adventure show that mixed in that messaging when it could, but it clearly put the space adventure first. Star Wars did the same. After, decades of analyzation, sure, there's some basic messaging in Star Wars. The Empire were the bad guys from Germany, and the good guys were kind of the rebel. Was it based on Vietnam? Well, Vietnam had rebels, and so did Star Wars. So I guess maybe, but nobody was talking about that when the movie came out. They were just talking about the Jedi and lightsabers and Chewbacca and R2-D2 and C-3PO and action figures. Nobody was going, I really enjoyed that Vietnamese allegory in A New Hope, which it wasn't always called A New Hope. That wasn't until 1980, I believe. First time I saw that. And the first time I saw it when I was a kid, I thought it was a shitty title, and I still do. But that's what's destroyed storytelling now. It's Hollywood has rebranded themselves into an influence network because they know they're competing against social media. And fuck the word influencer, by the way. I can't stand it. I was checking out a couple of YouTubers today I never heard of, like Mr. Beast. He's got 41 million subscribers, and I had never heard of that YouTuber until today. It's a good thing to keep you humble. It's like 262,000 subscribers. Not very much. But I'm very happy to have it. I'm happy to be not heard of by most people. So get to a couple of super chats. Thank you for watching my latest video. It's doing very well. That will be followed up maybe tonight if I can get it done, because I told you, if you didn't watch last night, I have my escape from San Francisco video. I think I'm going to title it, So I Made a Decision. And I made a huge mistake in it. I got a date wrong, and I kept repeating the wrong date. even though the date is staring at me right there on the image I'm using, like the whole fucking video. And I'm like, boomer. Fucking boomer. I'm going to keep that as an outtake and put it in because when I discovered it, I was recording something else and I almost fell over. I was laughing so hard. I'm so fucking stupid sometimes. But you know, I guess it's not as bad as forgetting you had a live stream with Az, which I did. Sorry, Az. Speaking of guesting on live streams, this Thursday, 1 p.m., Critical Drinkers channel, be there. He and I will be discussing Undiscovered Country, the second best Star Trek movie. So join us there. Thank you for the phallic unicorn chew and thank you for the 14 Swedish krona. Skin OHP Cosine. Is that it? Okay, what the heck is cocina? Is that cocina? Like el gato es en la cocina? El pollo es en el baño? Necesito cargar en su boca. Thank you for watching Telemundo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining the Geloja level. Christian Basil for $20. Hail, Gary. Happy belated birthday from the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show. Hope this helps with the move. Thank you. I appreciate that, Christian. And go check out his, he's on iHeartRadio. And it's Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. And he has a life-size TARDIS. And I might be competing. Now, I won't be as great as yours, dude. But I am getting a life-size TARDIS. I am. That's happening because I'm now in a place where I can have that. I want to make it, though. I want to make it. And it's just going to be like a shell and put it in my kid's room or something like that. On August 20th is my birthday. Oh, awesome. What's up, fellow Leo? Sophie Aldred, Sylvester McCoy, and Anthony Ainley. I'm in good company. Miss you, big guy. I miss you too. We'll do a show together soon. Tracer Bullet. Thank you for the, it says, it's a cup. It says tired. I'm just tired. I'm actually wide awake, buddy. But thank you for the $1.99. Hail, Gary. Happy belated birthday, says Matthew Owen. Thank you for the £2 and the belated birthday wishes. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm 51. We have a triple phallic unicorn assault from Culture Casino, Scottish Nerd, and Jake D. And that's all for $1.49, but one is £1.49. And what's up, Jake D? Hope the channel is doing well. By the way, Jake D, the member stream will be at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to keep the time. We're going to keep the time because I have because Critical Drinkers afterwards. Queen Anne's Revenge. Ooh, but the movers are coming tomorrow. Hang on. I got to check with Mrs. Nerdrotic. Queen Anne's Revenge. Thank you for the birthday cake and the £1.49. I appreciate it. Norwegian Kryptonian for 22 Norwegian krona. Shine on and remember coffee. Shine on, you crazy diamond. Andrew Hoyle for £5. Happy belated birthday, Gary. Your cockpit looks weird without the backdrop. It certainly does, and don't get used to it. What do I have the comic rack up, right? That's the only thing that's really up right now. My sword is back there. You can see a couple of toys, but yeah, I can't do anything until I put my pads up. My sound, is the echoing bad? Is it that bad? It doesn't feel like it's bad, but I can't stand it. Oh my God, I can't believe how fucking triggered I got from that Lovecraft thing. If I watch the show, I might like lose my shit. Do you guys want to see, let's see how much of a trailer I can get away with without getting in trouble. Let's go to the beginning of that, okay? And there's a little bit of a trailer. The effects actually looked pretty decent, but you know, there's nothing wrong with having a show with all, you know, with like black male and female leads and predominantly black characters. That's fine. But why does every single fucking thing have to be about fucking race all the time? Why can't we just, you want to talk about that doesn't help anything. Of course, you want to keep awareness. We don't. It's not about that. We're talking about it's in every fucking show now. It's been everything that's related to. Don't you would think we still need normalization and progression to happen. All right, and part of that is, and the guy even said it in the interview. So I will watch the show for myself, but I've already heard from 5 people going, "Whoa, this is like worse than the Twilight Zone." And what Jordan Peele did to the Twilight Zone was sacrilege, because he took something that did have messages, but at first they had great stories, because the Twilight Zone is the greatest written television show of all time. And Rod Serling is the greatest television show writer of all time. And also one of the greatest smokers of all time. Like that, apparently that guy was just pounding down the Lucky Strikes. Here we go.
A few stories about travelers being attacked in the surrounding woods.
By what?
What is it
Hang on.
In the surrounding woods.
It's kind of low,
Attacked
huh?
in the surrounding-
Hang on. I got that blasting. Why is that low? Oh. Let me try this. Sorry.
Travelers being attacked in the surrounding woods.
By what?
What is it about sci-fi horror, about this genre, that lends itself to discussions about social injustice, about racial injustice?
Lovecraft Country is deconstructing
Look at her
this
serious
classic
face.
genre and reimagining it in a very bold and audacious way, you know, and centering Black voices in a genre that we've been shut out from for so long.
There's like a Harvey
And I
Cthulhu.
think the conversation that we, as you know,
I don't know
the
where it
globe
is,
is
though.
having.
I don't know where I
the
saw it.
BLM protests internationally. You know, we're fighting 2 pandemics right now because the
We're
systemic
fighting 2
racism that
pandemics.
this nation.
Has she talked about her brother's case and how much that damages any cause, when the vast majority of hate crimes that have been reported in the news, and I mean majority, have been fake? I mean, like, forget the news for one. It's not even worth considering. Sorry, I was looking at the Boys thing. Man, the Boys sounds disappointing as hell. And that kills me to say. I wanted the Boys to be great. So when they get to the Vought flamethrower scene where they're loading up all the flamethrowers, I could appear in my cameo, but I don't know if I can now. They wouldn't ask me. Believe me, they wouldn't ask me. I'm already in the doghouse a little bit with that one. So, oh, here, I wanted to show you guys this. Yeah, this is sad. Here it is. Here's the aftermath of the room. There you go. That's it. So see that glow in the dark Spider-Man Switch cover? I've had that since I was 7. It doesn't glow in the dark anymore. It used to. Isn't that sad, though? It's gone. Oh, what's up, Rebecca Gold? Hi, Ian. How are you? How you doing? All right. We need to talk about that Star Trek Civil War a little bit. I was talking about it earlier. We're going to go back to Bounding. And I read this last night. We're just going to kind of breeze over it tonight. Oh, God, we got to talk about Scott Snyder, too. All right, so we'll start with this article. There's 2 articles that we got to go over. One about the ratings and one about this. Again, I went over this in detail last night. We're just going to discuss it a little bit here, okay? I truly think there might be some truth to this. But the rumor does come from 4chan, And I got to, not everybody watched last night's live stream, so forgive me. But there are people who are purposely putting bullshit on 4chan, trying to muddy the waters and discredit Doomcock and yours truly and Midnight's Edge. So we have to be wary of that now. I generally don't make videos off of, I don't think I ever have, off of 4chan rumors. I would, if I was making videos at the time, I would have done, talked about the spoilers for Game of Thrones. Probably not too much though. I hate spoiling plots, but I haven't done a 4chan video. I'll talk about somebody else talking about 4chan, but I won't do one because it's 4chan. But based on, I mean, I know a little bit, but based on what I know, for one, people are only recently starting to go back to work in some of these places. Everything that's going on in Hollywood right now, for the most part, is happening on Zoom meetings. They are not going into the office. Now, some studios have opened up in a limited capacity to start some productions, social distancing, all that stuff. It looks like California might start opening back up within the next month. Okay, so San Diego County was taken off the watch list yesterday. So there's a 14-day waiting period, and then we can start like going into stores. Right now, you know, you can go to a restaurant and sit outside and it's fine. I had a good time last night, but it's not that open. And San Francisco is completely fucking shut down. But it looks like, my theory is, by the way, is maybe the leadership at the state has realized that if you lock everybody down through the election, it will most definitely guarantee a win for the Orange Man, whether you like it or not. It will. I think that's a virtual guarantee right now, anyway. But I think maybe they woke up and realized, oh, if we lock everybody, because I think the old school of thought was, we'll lock everybody down and we'll punish everybody for being good citizens. And then if you vote the right way, we'll let everything go. You know, I don't know what to think at this point. People, the shit that sounded ridiculous a year ago doesn't sound so ridiculous now. Sounded ridiculous that we'd be shut down for a pandemic for 7 or 8 months a year ago. Doesn't sound that ridiculous now. Sounded ridiculous that Hollywood might be collapsing right now. Doesn't sound that ridiculous right now. Comic industry falling apart. That never sounded ridiculous. Let's be real. So yeah, big changes are coming. And I think big changes are coming with Star Trek. The problem is, I believe these changes are too late. What do you guys think? So say Emma Watts is the great hope for Star Trek. And she might be. This might be a person we're absolutely rooting for. I was professing my love for her last night. If she got rid of Alex Kurtzman and I wasn't married, I would be on bended knee with ring in hand going, "My lady, may I take your hand?" She would say no, but I'd try anyway. I'd try some chivalry, you know? And if she saves Star Trek, God bless her. That's a strong female I can get behind. Oh, that sounded bad. But anyway, so Alex Kurtzman is still in charge of the television side of Star Trek. Emma Watts comes out with an article a week ago, the day after Lower Decks comes out. By the way, I know I didn't review the last episode. I've kind of missed the opportunity, but I'll go back to reviewing tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, I'll probably do a quick live review or a video or something. But let's just say the last Lower Decks episode sucked. Mariner is a Mary Sue. She's just a talkative Mary Sue. They talk over each other, and Star Trek fans, the ones who are kind of liking it, and I don't mean to disrespect any of my friends out there in the sphere. I know some of them like it, but basically what you're saying is my husband or my wife doesn't hit me as hard as they used to. They stopped blackening both of my eyes, and they only blacken one of them now. They only break my nose once every 6 months. They don't whip me. They whip me with a switch and not a 2x4. I mean, that's basically what it is. What you're saying is it's less crappy crap and you're just putting up with it. Well, that keeps them making more of it. You need to stop watching it, stop paying for it altogether. And that's the only way it'll change. And you would say, well, we might be in danger of losing it altogether. No, you already have. You got to look at the big picture. If they keep making shitty Doctor Who and shitty Star Trek and shitty Star Wars, you're going to get a little more shitty Star Trek, Doctor Who, and Star Wars. And then after that, you won't get any more ever again. Or it'll be 20 years down the road and it gets rebooted and it was something you will never recognize, not recognize at all. So this is kind of their only chance. Now, we were asking for this 2 years ago. Better late than never. But it looks like there might be an internal struggle, a civil war in CBS. And it might be between Emma Watts and Alex Kurtzman. They might be saddled with the Alex Kurtzman contract, but quite frankly, $25 million is nothing. They could buy him out tomorrow. So there must be some other poison pill. And this article surmises that Jar Jar Abrams and Bad Robot are behind the strength of Alex Kurtzman, which could be, and it's a merchandising thing, but the only thing, I don't think that makes a lot of sense because there isn't a lot of Star Trek merchandise out there to be fighting for. Maybe it's potential, but right now, if you recast you come out with a new Star Trek movie with a new cast on a new ship and a new adventure that just adds on to the story, it will not do very well. It'll make insurrection money. There's no hunger or thirst for a Star Trek movie. It needs to be an episodic, serialized television show, a cheap one that isn't made with a lot of money. All you have to do is get a new ship, get a new crew, start at the end of the Next Generation timeline, think of a concept that works, and go. Or you can do it concurrently. I wouldn't go in the past, though. I just, enough prequels. Just go forward. Don't skip any time. Picard and the crew are still out there. They just go somewhere else. They go on a 5-year mission on their own adventures, and chances are it's a big galaxy and they would never run into any of these ships. So just go. Just keep it simple. Do what they did with The Mandalorian. Keep it simple. And look, Star Trek fans are like clapping their hands over a couple of references in a shitty cartoon. If you give them average Star Trek fan, they might be crying at your feet and kissing your shoes. Because right now, the Orville, just think the Orville. Just think the Orville. As a matter of fact, Seth MacFarlane's out there. So this rumor states, and again, it comes from 4chan, that Star Trek Picard Season 2 is not happening. Lower Decks might get the axe. Prodigy might get unplugged. Strange New Worlds might be exempt from this. But there's been a lot of work on Prodigy. So the article mentions that, well, it's kind of weird that they've announced a director and a producer and they pull the plug. It's not entirely weird at all, if you think about it. And my analogy yesterday was, when AT&T was going to buy Warner Brothers, everybody knew it was going to happen. It was just waiting for government approval about when DC Universe was launched. I remember they were launching it at Comic-Con. I remember I was talking about it to my friend, like, we're signing up for a service that might not be here in 2 years. He's all, yep, but they got to go through with it anyway. And yeah, so they have to go through the motions anyway. Plus, Alex Kurtzman doesn't really know if he's going to get fired. This rumor might be news to him. Now, there have been rumors of Alex Kurtzman being fired a lot. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, this is it for Kurtzman. Now, Kurtzman has been removed from any direct control of any TV show. Now, of course, the party line is he's overseeing all of them, but he was removed as showrunner from Star Trek Discovery. So there's a contract that he's involved in that I guess they can't get rid of him. But I think times they are a-changing. And it looks like, we're going to find out. Now, there's the report out there that Star Trek Picard lost half of its viewership during the season. I would say that's true. I have no way of proving that, but all the circumstantial evidence around there I think backs it up. So look at every channel that covered Star Trek Picard, good and bad. Look at YouTube channels that covered Star Trek Picard. Go look at their view counts from episode 1 to episode 2. Go look at, and then calculate the interest from when the trailer dropped and how many people were in the trailer. And then go look at clips that are dropped on CBS All Access Now and look at how many views they get. It's like nothing. It's nothing. There is no interest in this show. Nobody wants to license anything. The reports of the licensees refusing to work with CBS on this show are true. Nobody wants to work with this show. Lower Decks doesn't have any international distribution. The fact that it doesn't by the time of its release is laughable. It's fucking laughable. Like, they are clowns. Clowns are running this program. Clowns are running CBS. So it says, it's hard to imagine the show would be canceled 7 days after finding a director. Yeah. I don't know if anything's canceled yet. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the report is saying that it's canceled. So in a report from Deadline, they detailed that Watts would be oversee the studio's film operations from a development to release, including Paramount Pictures and Paramount Players production labels, as well as managing creative development group and supervising casting, physical production, post-production, and music. She's handling the film side. So why would that be different than the television side? Why wouldn't Alex Kurtzman run all of Star Trek? That's what I thought. He was the Kevin Feige of Star Trek. Alex Kurtzman was talking about movies. He said it in many interviews. So why is he not involved? Why are they treating it separately, or is it not separately and they just don't want to mention Alex Kurtzman? New film chief Emma Watts, who managed many a franchise at Fox, is in the process of figuring out a way to go. Now, let's see if that is indeed the Deadline article I was reading. Yep. Let me look. For the language, J.J. Abrams, he directed. Back May, Chris Hemsworth would return. What we're hearing is that both the Holly pick, which calls for a new cast, might be about a deadly virus, which might feel a little awkward given the current circumstances, and the Smith version, Tarantino dropped out as director, but the project is still viable based on an episode of classic Star Trek series that takes place largely earthbound in the 30s gangster setting. Might serve the franchise best as Logan spinoffs when the core... Okay, here it is. What might serve the franchise best is Logan-type spinoffs. Okay, that is horrible. When the core franchise has been revitalized. The other one, but with an emphasis on boosting overseas gross numbers, which have never been the franchise's strong suit, these decisions will take place over the next few weeks. The core of the franchise needs to be revitalized. That says it all. The day after they release freaking Lower Decks, I say the Star Trek Civil War is real. JP at Egotastic Fun Time released a video yesterday, and he got a screen grab of the short treks that were, I guess, accidentally or just put up for a day on CBS All Access. And they got 1,000 views, each one. And apparently, Star Trek Discovery Season 1 is on YouTube, and it was made public. JP says he saw it with his own eyes. So we're gonna keep an eye on CBS All Access's a YouTube channel a lot now. And let's see what we got today. Yep. Here we go. You want to see some unbelievable numbers? There you go. The Trouble with Edward short trek has 8,600 views in 5 days. 5 days. Fucking Star Trek. Why do you think they put these on fucking YouTube? Do you think Emma Watts is going to go, okay, bitches, okay, Alex Kurtzman, let's see how many people actually like your fucking short treks. This is my dream girl. I don't know if she's actually like this, but let me fantasize as much as I want, okay? I'm thinking of this like very powerful Hollywood exec who really respects fandom. I know it's almost like porn. So she forces Kurtzman, again, this is my fantasy, don't fuck with it, to put it on YouTube to shame his ass. Here is Ephraim and Dot. Here's another short trek. Ephraim and Dot. 4,400 views in 5 days. And here is the prequel to Picard. 3,000 views in 5 days. By the way, good job, JP, for I like JP at Egotastic Fun Time. He just wants to have fun in his egotastic way, and he's a good dude. So go check him out. There you go. 2,700 views. Dude, what an embarrassment. 2,100 views. Q&A, 4,400 views. That's the one where Spock sings. How embarrassing. Oh my God. How the mighty have fallen. And listen, they pull all the shenanigans. They could, tomorrow, they can embed these in a website somewhere, and these can shoot up to 1 million. So anytime you see anything related to Star Trek that has 1 million views, chances are they embed that on a website like at Deadline or something where it auto plays the video as soon as you click on the website. It'll be muted, but it'll auto play. It counts as a view on YouTube as long as somebody's watching it for a couple of seconds. And then you get 1 million views. But look at the likes, dislikes, and comments if they're up. So if you have a video with 1 million views and it's got like 8,000 likes, that's bullshit, obviously. A video with 1 million views should have 40,000 likes or dislikes, somewhere in the tens of thousands. All right? It shows your real engagement. Holy shit. What an embarrassment. What's free premiere episode. So it's got 3 million views. The premiere episode has 3 million views, yet the short treks have 3,000 views. So let's go. Let's go over here. Let's see. They're going to hit me. Oh, whoa. What bullshit. How many comments do they have? All right. I'm going to flex a little bit. Where are my videos? Oh, I got no videos on the right here. Come on, guys. What are you killing me? Let's go to Nerdrotic real quick. All right. Can you see that? Oh, you can't see it. So you have no idea what I'm talking about. This has 3 million views, almost 4 million, and 6,000 likes. 6,000. Wait, I forgot to do something real quick. Okay. Had to take care of business. And 20 Oh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry. That's what happens when you have a Stream Deck. Sometimes you hit the wrong button. Oh, whoops. There it goes. All right. That's my comment. There we go. Sorry, I had to take care of a little business. Okay, so 4 million views almost, 6,000 likes. So let's go to, I don't have any videos with, let's go to PewDiePie. Let's go to Pewds. All right, I'm sure he's got a couple of videos with all right, here's one that's with 3.8 million views. 410,000. Can you see that? I got to make sure you can see that. So he's got less views than Star Trek, and it's Pude's face in a fucking watermelon, and the title is JPEG, right? This is from August 18th, 2020. 410,000 likes. 410,000 likes. Yet we go back to Star Trek. 6,000 likes. Fucking liars. You fucking liars. You know what the numbers are really? Hang on. They're really 3,000. So if you have 6,000 likes on a video, chances are, I would say, 20,000 views. 20,000 legit real views. So YouTube does sell views, although they will remove channels completely and they should, for getting false subscribers and buying views, which you can most certainly do, by the way. And you want to sniff it out. All you have to do is look at that engagement. So, busted, fucking CBS. Star Trek's a fucking joke. They have to lie to us all the time. And you know what? They spend so much fucking time covering up this fucking bullshit. They could just fire Kurtzman and make good Trek. For all the time they have spent trying to lie and fucking, and cheat behind the scenes and discredit fucking people, individuals. Try to take down channels like my fucking channel. That's why this is personal, by the way. You probably feel that it's personal. It's fucking personal. So when I catch them in this fucking bullshit, it makes me very happy. Tip of Pete's to the working man and woman. Emma Watts, I want us to be friends. I want to review Star Trek in a positive way. I want to review good Star Trek, and we can all enjoy it together. Enjoy some good escapism, the pure joy that can be good Star Trek, which very few franchises can do. I would say there's only one other franchise that can do what Star Trek does. I think it does it a little better, which is Doctor Who. Not Star Wars. Star Wars is a cinematic franchise. Star Trek is television. It brings you that joy every week. I think you're beyond your last chance, but do something now or forever hold your peace, because Star Trek is dead. Alpha Omega Records for 100 pounds. You're putting a brave face on. Huge respect, but chin up. It'll all work out. The San Francisco house will sell. It's scary to watch from the UK, from what the Dems are doing, just like we needed Boris. I'm afraid you guys need the Orange Man. Make them pay. So much love and luck. Thank you. And yes, I appreciate that, Alpha Omega Records. And we're not... we aren't playing the victim. And when you see my video later, my Escape from San Francisco video later, you'll see. Again, we're not playing the victim here. We've turned the page. It sucks. It sucks watching your wife's business get shut down when she didn't do anything wrong. It sucks being powerless over this, but that's when it sucked. It'll always suck. And saying it sucks and whining about it's not going to fucking change a goddamn thing. So what you do is what I do and what Melissa does is we are on to the next thing. We're on to the next adventure. We're not going to forget this shit though. And we are going to use it. And we're not going to repeat the mistake. We're not going to live in a town where that's going to happen. And I don't know what we can do as individuals other than pay a lot more attention to our local elections and yes, make them fucking pay. Make them pay. Would I like to get sweet, sweet revenge? Yes. I don't know. I want it to be real though and practical. So I got to think about it. But this isn't a brave face. We are genuinely over the hurt of it all, right? So, because it doesn't do any good to whine about shit. It doesn't do any good. We're not victims. We are, well, I mean, technically we are, but we're not going to play like it. We're not going to fucking whine about it. We're going to get angry, and we're going to focus that energy on making something better and trying to fight what I see as the forces of evil at this point. There's no other way to put it. I never thought in my lifetime I would be saying out loud. I mean, there's a lot of things happening now. I didn't think I'd be saying out loud, but I didn't think in my lifetime I would be picking like, man, I can't live in a blue city and I can't live in a blue state. But that's a fact right now. That's a fact. Because I'm not going to take my kid somewhere where he's going to hear some asshole in a bullhorn walking up a street, telling me to move out of my own home. Or somebody coming up to my house and vandalizing it, and I can't do anything about it. Believe me, I would anyway, but at least I want to go somewhere where I won't get thrown in jail forever. At least they'll I can protect my home here. The city I'm in right now, I can protect my home, and I don't have to worry too much about politics. Although it's not technically my home, it's our rental right now. And my wife's life's dream was to have a salon, and it was shut down, and it wasn't her fault. How far does the blame go? Country of origin? Sure, absolutely. But also the direct actions of the local government are the ones who fucked everything up. And they were playing politics from the beginning. They didn't give a shit about the people. They were completely okay with shutting down some businesses. As a matter of fact, they probably wanted the real estate in the city. I know what's up. We know what's up. And what they do is they just try to make the plausible deniability. They try to put enough counter information in the mainstream media to make it all sound like it's a conspiracy theory and we're all crazy, yet we're actually watching it happen. So what I recommend you do is what I've done is you plug your fucking ears and you just watch what they're doing, because what they're saying and what they're doing are two different fucking things. That has been going on forever. Just because I don't talk about politics, I do a show called Exozone Conspiratorial. I know it's fucking up. I pay a lot of attention. I try not to get too partisan because like I said, I'm an independent, but I'm also not dumb. It's clear where I need to go where I can have the most freedom, and where the politicians there respect freedom of speech, freedom of expression. A rare thing is a good politician. I don't need a good politician. I need one to respect the Constitution and my personal freedom. And I don't ask a whole lot. I don't mind paying a little bit of taxes. It's fine. I still think it's complete theft, but I'm fine as long as my roads are cool, my lights are on, and my water is running. Fine, whatever. But now I'm paying for shit I can't support. My tax money is going to get diverted into partisan, it always is, but like horrible organizations that want to tear down our country. So you have to defund San Francisco. I can't, I'm sitting there not talking about giving money to Disney. How can I give money to the city of San Francisco? It disgusts me. Fucking disgusts me. So, and then there's my house. And I already told that story, but, I worked my ass off to buy that house. So, and people have said it on my live streams. They're like, you must be rich with all those toys. I'm not fucking rich. All those toys were purchased over 25, 30 years in bargain bins and through my store. Sure, I got a couple expensive things. So what? But it's not like, just because you own a house doesn't make you rich. I worked my ass off for it. I was homeless. I went to prison. I was behind bars for 4 years of my life because I was a fucking junkie. And I was homeless. So I got out with $200 and clothes that didn't fit me, and I stayed at my parents' house for a month till I found a room to rent, and I got a job, and then I got 2 jobs, and then I got a girlfriend who moved in with me, and I was working those 2 jobs, and I worked those 2 jobs throughout the entire 90s, selling VHSs, DVDs, records at a thing called a record store called The Warehouse, and delivering auto parts for a company called WorldPack. And then I turned that job into a parts. I was an assistant in a warehouse, and then I turned it into a parts job. I was uneducated, kicked out of 3 high schools with absolutely no fucking skills. And I found a skill, grabbed onto it, learned it as best I could, I'm considered a journeyman parts professional now. I can go anywhere and get a parts job because I can figure out any car now. And I didn't know shit about cars when I got there. I wasn't interested in cars, couldn't give a fuck about cars. Now I know cars. And then I took that and I bought a little condo for $35,000. And I got a $5,000 loan from the city of Escondido that I had to pay back. It's a pretty good deal. If you're poor, they'll loan you $5,000 if you have decent credit towards a house or your first purchase. And yes, you have to pay it back, but it's 0 interest. Then my dad loaned me $5,000 with interest that he made me pay back. And I paid for the rest, and I got this little condo for $35,000. And then there was a housing boom, a market boom, and I was able to flip the condo when I moved. Then I got a divorce. So whatever money I made flipping the condo, half of it went to my ex, and I took the rest and moved to San Francisco, got a few more bucks, and put money down on a house there when it was still possible to buy a house in San Francisco when it was cheap. Again, not a rich man. Everything I had went into that house. Every fucking penny I had went into buying that house because I was just convinced real estate in San Francisco, honestly, was a safe bet. It's always been a good bet for decades. But who could see a pandemic coming? And then forget that. Who could see the stupidity of governments wanting to actually defund the police, which will ripple throughout the city and it will make people leave. You won't be able to insure it. And then your city becomes Detroit overnight. And then I have a worthless house. So I don't know what to do with it. It's a concern, but again, that's something I'm getting over. I'm almost at the point where it's like, I got to be smart about this an adult. So the knee-jerk reaction is just to sell it right now and get what you can for it. I don't know if that's the best move or not. Might be just better to keep it as a write-off and just go rent other places. I don't fucking know. I'll find, there's a decision out there that I will come to later on, but it's my life's saving. My wife's life's work was shut down by stuff beyond our control. So we can kind of walk away with our heads held high, and we didn't do anything wrong. As a matter of fact, we followed the rules. We did everything we were supposed to do to achieve the American dream. And I don't blame America. See, America is a bunch of states run by the people who are the heads of those states, the governors and the mayors and the city council supervisors. And it's not run by the president and the federal government. They oversee the bulk of it, but the most of it is run on the state level. So I'm not blaming the federal government per se. I blame the local government and their decisions. When San Francisco had the lowest numbers in California, or like maybe a smaller town, but as far as big cities were concerned, they had some of the lowest numbers of the COOF in the country till this very day. And some of the lowest death totals. There was no reason why people couldn't get their fucking hair cut while social distancing. By the way, to cut hair in San Francisco and to color hair in San Francisco, you have to have a license for health and safety. One of the few jobs where you actually have to have one of those to practice, to do your job. Instead of recognizing that, they threatened to take it away if you fucking did hair. Fuck these motherfuckers. I think we need a giant rollback wherever we go. Maybe all of us with common sense descend on one state and maybe we can positively change that state to roll back things like licenses. We don't need I don't need the government's permission to sell comic books. I really fucking don't. There might have been a time a business license, and I think for certain jobs, sure. But if you're selling books, no. I don't think you need one. And honestly, you know, I would, if people just started throwing stuff up and doing business, that's what I'd do. I would start a lot of civil disobedience in California and do it in a way where you're just opening up your shop and while still being completely healthy and compliant and practicing social distancing and wearing that fucking god awful mask. Listen, I do it. I wear the mask out of respect for the business I'm walking in because they asked me to. So I will. I still like it when the state asks you to wear it. When they mandate it, I have a bit of a problem with that. So yeah, we're moving on. And the reason we came down to San Diego immediately is because we knew San Diego would open up sooner, and it's doing that right now. And Melissa can get work down here instead of, I don't want to say very much. Well, I'm just going to say that a lot of people you've noticed are still getting their haircut, including Gavin Newsom and London Breed and Gil Garcetti. They're all getting their haircut still. How? Are there stylists coming over to their house? Because tell me how that is fucking safer than having people come into a location where they're cleaning the surfaces and all that. See, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Yes, people got sick. I know that. I know people got sick. And they're going to continue to get sick. We were never going to cure this. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm going about my life now. And, unfortunately, there's certain businesses I want to go to that are closed, like a gym and stuff. Well, then I guess I got to find another way to work out. But, yeah, I'm not letting, these restrictions, I'm just looking at them as guidelines that I can completely ignore while still being respectful of other people's space and their health and stuff. But now if I want to go to a beach, I'm going to go to a fucking beach. If they got to arrest me for that, because I don't give a flying fuck anymore. Because after watching businesses burn down, watching my wife close down my business, I have zero fucks to give at this point. And the pop culture commentary will return. As a matter of fact, I'm very pleasantly surprised that you guys want to hear about it as much as you do. Apparently, there's a lot of people out there who love to hear, I don't know, the truth about California, shitting on California, shitting on San Francisco. I don't mean the literal shitting on San Francisco that goes on every day. I'm talking the figurative shitting on San Francisco. Happy to do it because there's not enough people talking about it, outside of big, Adam Carollas and stuff like that. Happy to fucking do it. San Francisco was lame beforehand. I understand that. They tried to tax my point of sale purchase system. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's a program you have. Every business has it for inventory, and then you use a little scanner and the price comes up, and it's a way of keeping inventory. Well, if you put that in any of your businesses now, it wasn't I forgot, it was the health, I think it was health and safety organization. It wasn't the business related organization that has access to it. And there's a tax. There was like a $75 or $100 tax on your point of sale purchase program. And then they had access to it. So I got rid of it. I just got rid of it. Started writing everything down. I'm all, fuck that. There's all kinds of fucking scams. Everything's a scam. The street cleaning is a scam. What they do is they make the entire city. It's basically so people won't park their cars forever. That part of it kind of makes sense, but they street clean in neighborhoods. So it forces everybody on a certain day in the neighborhood to get up at 7 a.m. and do this. This, you can't even say something. Can you say Chinese fire drill anymore? And you have to like go find parking. It automatically reduces all the parking in your neighborhood 50% for one day. And you got to like fight with people to have a parking spot. So some fucking truck can come and blow trash around and then comes back. And if you get a ticket, it's like $100 now. Yeah. And how much money they make off the fucking meter maids. Right. And the thing is, I had a meter maid shopping at my store for a while, and the guy said none of the meter maids who work in San Francisco could live there because if they get recognized, they get beat up. So all the meter maids who work in San Francisco like live in East Bay and vice versa. All the meter maids who live over there live in San Francisco because they're some of the most hated people, deservedly so, in my opinion. And that's city living. It always smelled like piss. It did. I don't know why and I explained it last night. It's a town where people, I love a good old American strip mall. I like driving up, parking right in front of the restaurant I want to go to, picking up my food and leaving, or going into a strip mall where I got a restaurant and there's a comic shop and, or something else I could go. I like that. You can't do that in San Francisco. Everywhere you go, you have to coordinate where you're going to park, see how much the parking is, and they won't allow stores like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is essentially not allowed in San Francisco. I don't know if it's not allowed or they refuse to do business out there, but there is no Chick-fil-A's at all. There's no Walmarts. They will not allow a Walmart. Straight up, they fought it every time a Walmart tried to open there. They fought it. So Walmart said, fuck it. But they'll let Target in. And it's because of politics. It's because of politics. Yeah, it's a stupid place to be. It really is. And I'm glad to be out of there. But there are like a lot of good people there. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of very good common sense people there who don't believe in the politics of San Francisco. The thing is, the way the districts are set up for the supervisors, a city supervisor in San Francisco, especially the one in the main, like downtown, can be voted in with 5,000 votes. The way they have it finagled. It is such bullshit. And they'll like waste their fucking time. They'll like spend a day condemning the Orange Man or something like that. And not like, I don't know, talking about city business. If you want to see a fucking clown show, it'd be kind of boring, but the city politics of San Francisco. And the thing is, it's got the most gaudy fucking city hall. A city hall that looks like a state capitol. The only good thing about it is the stairway at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. There's a lot of cool things about the city. There is. Golden Gate Park is fucking awesome. The museums are great. They're great. But you can't golf there. Oh, where was I? What happened? Hang on a second. I bet you. Hang on. Just checking something here. Un momento. I just got a message. I'm making sure the cable guy isn't going to be here soon, and it looks like he is. Sorry. Got to do a little personal business here. Be right with you. Reading some super chats. Oh, and I got ghosted. Look at that. It's been a while since I got fucking ghosted. I wonder why I got ghosted. I was like, how did I lose so many viewers? Maybe I suck. But I got ghosted. So I'm not going to restart the stream. Yeah, I got ghosted. I don't know if I'm going to do a video on this, and since I've ghosted, it's exclusive for you. Tom Hanks, since we're ghosted already, Tom Hanks, fucking YouTube, just because I'm talking about some California politics. And listen, I'm not a partisan person. I've said it a million times. Just because, I don't know, the Democratic leadership in my city is crushing the economy. You know what? I had nothing to fucking do with that. I didn't vote the fucking assholes in. And I just lived there and I paid my taxes. Am I not supposed to call this shit out? Am I not supposed to see if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a motherfucking duck? You know what? If the local Democratic politicians don't act like fucking assholes, then I won't call them out. Again, I'm not a partisan person, but it is very clear that that party wants to keep everything shut down for the rest of the year for the election, and they don't care about small business. And you know what? They lost a lot of party voters over the last few months. Hard ride or die liberals in San Francisco are fucking done with them. They're pissed. They overreached. They thought that, you know, kind of like how Disney thought anybody would just march to whatever drum they fucking beat with Star Wars. Same goes for that party in San Francisco. They thought there's no opposition here. We have a mandate. We can do whatever we want. Oops, we overreached. Too fucking late. Now your tax base is leaving. And the ones who are staying are probably going to be pretty fucking pissed. I don't know how any politician survives this. Maybe, I mean, the mayor of Minneapolis gets voted in again. Minneapolis, I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. Same with Portland and Seattle. You vote your mayors back in, you get what you get. Build a wall around the city and fucking let them burn. Sorry. But, you know, and it's clear, you know, like I couldn't enact any change in San Francisco. I knew I was outnumbered. So I get the fuck out. You know, but it took our business being shut down to do it. I was willing to stay for a little while because, you know what? I minded my own business. I did my own fucking thing, played by the rules. Again, we get fucking punished. So YouTube, you know, I was thinking, so I put up my video yesterday, right? And it got demonetized automatically. And I'm like, am I going to release it or am I going to try to finagle it to get it monetized? Well, I got it monetized. You want to know what I did to get it monetized? It has to be one of two things, because I changed two things about that video. And either of these two things are fucking ridiculous. I had a thumbnail just like the one you have here with googly eyes on Tom Hanks. I took the googly eyes off, and I was reading a Daily Wire article and it showed the banner across the top. I removed the banner of the Daily Wire. So either YouTube doesn't like googly eyes on Tom Hanks, I wonder why, or they don't like the words the Daily Wire. Because after I did that, perfectly monetized, perfectly fine. Now, it's not necessarily, and I'm honest about this, the money from the videos. It's kind of, you know, it is what it is. It's about getting the recommendations. That's the only reason I care if my video is monetized or not, because if it doesn't get monetized, it won't get recommended enough. And obviously it did fine. It did fine. And I meant to come out with my Escaping from San Francisco video first. And of course I made a mistake. That'll be out tomorrow or later today. But yeah, so it's either the fucking googly eyes or the Daily Wire. So fucking stupid. Okay. I'm going to read some super chats and I got to meet the cable man. I probably won't get to all of them. So the Uber Square Up is on Friday. I have been recording bits and pieces of it. We've got a lot of making up to do, but it's going to be a long one, but it's going to be fun. I added some exclusive stuff in there and I tried to mix it up. I think I'm going to end up putting some Perry Chang clips in there as well. All right, Chu, thank you for the phallic unicorn for 14 Swedish krona. I appreciate it. And Joshua Trammell, thank you for the $99.99. A little cheddar for you and your family. You're awesome. Keep up the great work. You are awesome, Joshua. Thank you for the $99.99. I appreciate that. God, you know what? I get pissed every time I get ghosted. And it used to happen a lot on the Nooner. And it's clear. I mean, listen, there's no other reason for it. You know who else gets ghosted all the time? Ethan. But it's funny. Nobody else really does. Not anymore. It used to happen. And you know, it's happened to Doomcock for all the time too. And it seems to have stopped. And you want to know how I know it's got to be an individual? It never happens to Friday Night Tights or the Inquisition on my channel. It only happens to the Nooner. Like, what the fuck? I don't even do it at the same time every day. And you're asking what's ghosting. So I'm not on the main page anymore. You have to literally go to my channel to find this live stream. It's not getting recommended. So it doesn't recycle because each live stream cycles in and out viewers, and the new viewers come from recommendations. So there's a base number of viewers who are going to watch the show. And then there's people who get busy, get bored, don't like me, whatever. They dip out and it gets replaced by more people. I was up to almost 4,000 viewers and I got 2,400 now because Matthew Owen for £2. Hail, Gary. Happy belated birthday. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for the phallic unicorns. Okay. $49.99 Road Rager. First time super chatting, long time moocher of your content. Here's some birthday money for coffee and move. Enjoy. White, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. And you're not a moocher. Not everybody can afford super chats. If you can't stand the commercials, I understand. Oh, by the way, I need to apologize for something because I didn't know it was happening. So YouTube changed their mid-roll thing, right? So they added a new mid-roll for 8-minute videos or less. So basically they're putting in more commercials on the videos. And listen, we need to get paid for our stuff. I understand that. But YouTube was automatically putting in the mid-roll. And I am now removing that from all of my videos. I can place in mid-rolls myself, and I'll do that on my super long live streams. So if you do see a mid-roll in a super long live stream, I put that there. But I'm not the 7 or even 3 commercials in the first 7 minutes. That shit's gone. Now you're going to get probably a one in the beginning, but you're not going to get a mid-roll. I have now removed them. But they put them in as default, so I have to go in later and remove it. And I thought they were just doing that on live streams, but I went back and looked at my video and I saw they did in my video too. I'm like, fuck that. So I'm sorry. I know that's annoying as hell. Now I have YouTube Premium, so I don't see commercials at all. Scottish Nerd for £2. Thanks, Gary. Bookended my day nicely. Stay mellow. Well, I wasn't too mellow today. Oh, I wonder if they ghost me for Star Trek. Do you think they ghost me for Star Trek? You think they go? Because that was right around the time it happened. I don't know. What do you think, Lady Greymaster? Are you out there? Dun, 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 dun. I don't see her. We're going to get through as much as I can go for another 12 minutes. And then the cable. Oh, shit. Hang on. Sorry. I can't miss this dude. Okay. I haven't got a text yet from them, so that's good. But I got an email. Okay. Queen Anne's Revenge, welcome to the Jaloja membership. Keaton Smith, thank you for the 99-cent super sticker. Aja Borkar, thank you. How do you say Aja Borkar for $1.49 phallic unicorn. Overlord VHS. Overlord VHS is thanks for making my day just a little bit better. You are welcome. Johnny Stewart, welcome to the proto-molecule level. That's brilliant. Yeah, we got 6 new members. Modalicious for $2. Correction, Lovecraft's cat's name. Cat's name. Lovecraft Country is more disappointing to me than Star Trek Lower Decks. I'm done with HBO Productions. Happy belated birthday, Gary. Louis the Plank for $5. Yeah, I think I'm about done with HBO, period. I'm going to watch the first episode, and you know what? Fuck it. I'll do a review. Why not? Dude, in a way, I'm glad got collapsed, because if it hadn't, I wouldn't have found the drinker and I wouldn't have found you. Hail the Fandom Menace. Foul Ball Productions for $5. Thank you so much. And I love the drinker and I love the Fandom Menace. So hail to you, brother. The world is indeed comic, but the joke is on mankind. H.P. Lovecraft. Blank $4.99. Hell yes. $100. Thank you, Blank. $100 says she doesn't know Lovecraft's dog's name. Modalicious. Or cat's name. No. What do you think about Apple gender swapping? I see. I don't know these names. Dermazel and erasing doors from Foundation. Bilby Formula for £5. I am aware of Foundation, and I've said before I haven't read Foundation. What do I think of it? I think it's 2019. And I think if they don't respect the fucking source material, then don't make the fucking story. Because once you take away instrumental characters or main characters or gender swap them, it ceases to be the story. Now, there are little things you can do. I don't think... Well, no. See, if I was just about to use Commissioner Gordon as an example, but that's a horrible example, because Commissioner Gordon, race swapping him, race swaps Batgirl. And then it stops being, make new characters. Make 2 characters. Nobody's saying we're trying to keep black people out of fucking anything. Okay, we're not. Make new characters. Show them the respect they are owed. Show them as human beings. Show them the respect of making a new character. How about a whole new generation of new real characters that aren't based on SJWs or NPCs, that are based on real human beings and real events, and just create a new fucking superhero in a new city. And don't, you know what? Don't saddle that hero with a bunch of fucking politics. Saddle that hero with good stories. And then you have your genuine new hero. Blade. The movie Blade, that is a perfect example of what you should do. It wasn't saddled with a bunch of isms, or it was just a vampire hunter. And it had a black lead, and everybody was fine with it. Nobody tripped on it because we don't care. We don't care. I don't care where you put your dick. I don't care where you don't put your dick. I don't care about your skin color. I just care if you're an asshole or not. That's all. And Blade was a great example of how you do it genuinely. Fucking love that movie. Monster Fan for $15. Belated happy birthday. I was sound asleep for your late night stream. I thank you for all the fun that you have given us through the endless nightmare in which we have to live. Bless you and have a coffee on me. Well, cheers. Cheers, Monster Fan, for $15. I appreciate that. Listen, things have been better. But it's not the end of the world. The NASDAQ keeps breaking records. The Dow is doing just fine. What isn't doing fine is some of our democratic cities and the mainstream media and some in the establishment and uber corporate America. They all need to be taken to task and shown who's boss. And we need to do that sooner than later, because right now, or lately, they've been kind of kicking our ass. And because they got us when we were locked down. This is a power play we can't let happen again. So the only way to stop this is to stop any kind of voter fraud and vote all these fuckers out. Like, get the broom, get them all out. What do you think about Tom Hanks hiding out in Greece? Antonio Cardenas? I think it's very strange. I've known there's always been rumors about Tom Hanks, known it for years. Again, I am aware of things like QAnon. Not saying I believe everything. I don't. I am very much a conspiracy theory buff. I like it as a form of entertainment and passing the time. I'm not going to say I believe everything, but I think within a lot of those theories, as whack as they sound, there is some truth there. There's definitely some truth. So why did Tom Hanks become a Greek citizen? I mean, he could buy a house in Greece. I don't think you need to be a citizen. Why a Greek citizen? Why not like a citizen of New Zealand? Like the movie stars love to go to New Zealand. Why Greece? Greece's economy is shit. I mean, that country could collapse any fucking day. It's propped up by the EU, right? So, and it almost collapsed. The banks almost collapsed a few years ago. Why would you be? I mean, why not Italy or Sicily? I was in Sicily. I tell you what, Italy and Sicily are beautiful country. No doubt about that. But listen, America's fucking awesome, guys. And listen, to my international friends, I think it's the best country in the world for a lot of reasons. It's going through a lot of strife right now, and it's because of our freedoms that's happening. A lot of people are taking advantage of the freedoms we have, which might lead to losing those freedoms, which sucks. But, just come to our country and take a look at our roads and our grid. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable. It's pretty cool. Do we do everything perfect? No. God, no. Are we flawed? Yes, very. But I went to Italy and Sicily, and it reminded me of kind of the parts of Mexico. It reminded me of parts of Mexico. But it was nice. It's got a lot of castles. That's fucking cool. Mediterranean Sea is cool. But Greece? But they do have some interesting laws in Greece, don't they? Some lackadaisical laws when it comes to certain crimes. Horrific crimes. Now, a man moving to Greece is just a man moving to Greece. But it is interesting as far as I can't get too far into it in this channel because it would put me in danger, but I'm ghosted right now. So as far as the QAnon theories go, Tom likes the kids. And he's going to that. The rumor is the conspiracy theory is he's going over to that country so he can freely practice his pastime. I don't know what evidence there is beyond that. I can't say I've looked into it too hard, but it's been around for years. I remember hearing about this back in 2015, and I know before that, but that's when I first heard it. So he's not running from the coof because he's already had it. And isn't it weird so many celebrities had the coof? I mean, sure, they travel a lot, but I know a lot of people who travel a lot too, and they didn't get the coof. So, yeah. Tom Hanks moving to Greece was weird. Becoming a Greek citizen, even weirder. But there was a QAnon report from a year ago stating that the Hollywood celebrities would be fleeing Hollywood for New Zealand, though. They said New Zealand, not Greece, just to be right, to avoid prosecution because part of QAnon is this, there is abuse in Hollywood. There's no doubt in my mind at all. It's a fact. There's abuse in Hollywood. We already know it. They just didn't go far enough with some of the Me Too stuff, in my opinion. There's some evil men and women in that town who practice some horrific shit because they're sick, because they're jaded, because they are too rich and powerful. And, listen, rich and powerful people abide by the law every day. And some of them are just fucking sick. And there's some people who get certain flights to certain islands and they get their every need met. Royal family members, you know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. That shit happens. That's not a conspiracy theory. It just they haven't been busted yet. But it's a matter of time. So the big theory is there's a concerted effort to try to get these people and make arrests and stuff. And, as much as I thought that was I wouldn't say it's full of crap. It's just, some of it sounds far-fetched. Okay, let's be real. But then, to do with I don't want to discuss this too much because I'm getting a lot of trouble. But we'll just say there's been a lot of weird shit going on. Now, that will be discussed in detail on our podcasts of the Exozone. We are going to get down and dirty on that subject, okay? So just stay tuned, and we'll talk about that shit. Unfortunately, you got to be very careful here because YouTube can retroactively just nuke your fucking channel for talking about that. And believe me, the next adpocalypse is coming, and it's coming very soon. And I think remonetizing Crowder, which congratulations to our friend Steven Crowder for getting remonetized. Very good. Very good. I think that is a lure because I think around end of September, early October, the hammer is going to come down on a lot of channels. You're going to see a lot of channels disappear. And I think talking about this subject that I'm talking about right now could be one of those subjects that get you gone. So I'll do it somewhere else. Okay, we're going to get through some super chats. Cheers, Gary. Great to see you here on your birthday and chat with Az. Did you ever see a puppet type sci-fi called Starfleet? It's popped up on my YouTube feed, but I think it's pretty old. I've never seen it, JPRPH1. What is it? A puppet Starfleet? I'll check it out. Cardinal Sin, happy belated birthday. Youngin, keep it up. Thanks, Cardinal Sin. I don't feel that young. Doctor on Move for Australian $5. He's lived long and prosper. So do I actually think Tom Hanks is a weirdo? I'm at a wait and see on that one. I'm on a wait and see. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. And I'll be real with you guys. I've always kind of liked Tom Hanks as an actor. I loved him back in the early days when he was funny. Loved Bachelor Party. It's a fucking great movie. I think he's become part of the Hollywood elite, and he takes himself way too seriously now. Especially like the Tom Hanks, when Ricky Gervais was calling out all that shit and that meme, that face that he made. Imagine the Tom Hanks from 30 years ago would have been laughing his ass off at that stuff. So he, like Spielberg, became part of this elite cabal where, I think they start looking at themselves as like heads of state, royalty. A royalty. I will say royalty. It's almost like they go through like some weird ritual, maybe in a place in Northern California. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But you hear this weird shit, and at first you want to go, that's fucking crazy. But then Jeffrey Epstein happens. Oh, did you hear that? That was a bird flying right into my window. Hope he's okay. Oh, shit. Poor bird. Got his bell rung right there. Where was I? Okay. So, I mean, the Epstein thing, I've known about it for years. A lot of you have for years. And everybody was calling that crazy. And the mainstream media wasn't covering it forever. And Cernovich was trying to cover it, and other people were trying to cover it. And they got, they got shut down at YouTube and Twitter and everywhere else. Then it turns out to be fucking true. So we can't go out and say this stuff is crazy and not true automatically. We just can't. Look at the world right now. It's fucked up. A major American city shut down all of its businesses because the mayor is a good little team player and is going to have everything shut down through the election, even though it doesn't make a difference in San Francisco. It doesn't make a fucking difference. I think my son might have been the only person. Well, he's not, but I think there's probably like 10 votes for Trump in San Francisco. Come on, maybe 11. Cantanini, belated Gary. Thank you, a.k.a. Blonded, for $5. I appreciate it. Kai-sun, thank you for becoming a member at the proto-molecule level. Ian Gold, Rebecca Gold for 10 pounds. Give us a shout out, mate. Dan, myself, Robert Meyer Burnett, and Starry-Eyed Girl will be doing a live stream tomorrow about Star Trek The Voyage Home. Hope you had an excellent B-Day, fella. Wow, that's the same day we're doing a live stream about Undiscovered Country. Ian? Go check it out. But I'll be on Critical Drinker's channel talking about the movie after that. But have a good time. Enjoy it. Thank you, Ian. Will R for $5. According to Hollywood, we have so many I'm ghosted. Nazis in our country. Sabaton is going to write sing about it. Probably. No, Hollywood wants them to exist. They don't really, though. There might be 1,000 of them in our entire country. I don't know. Happy birthday. Remember, you are only as old as the doctor who feels you. Oh, okay, Alex B. There you go for £5. CB News and Reviews for £2. Will Anna, that Star Wars girl, be on Friday Night Tight sometime? Sure. She just got to hit. Yeah, you got to hit me up if you want to be on Friday Night Tights. Lady Grandmaster, or hit me up. We are booking guests out from time to time, but we're trying to get booked out a month, and we're trying to mix and match a little bit. Mix and match. The design of the Cerritos makes no sense. How do they get to engineering? Through the warp? Through the warp nacelles, or that's indicative of though put it into it. John Oakletree, I don't know what you said towards the end there. I tried, buddy. No, if you look at the Cerritos, they must have to go down. So what's the thing that? Yeah, it looks like they can take a little elevator down. I didn't see the schematic, but the ship makes no sense. Jonathan D. Pena Baez, welcome to the Jaloja membership. I appreciate it. All right, we have. Oh, I went way over time here. Okay. All right, there's a bunch of you I got to get to. I will get to it in the square up. I do apologize. I rambled way too long today because I got triggered by fucking Lovecraft Country. Ram Mori, 82 for $10. See how much longer your comment stays up and the comment section stays open. Yeah, it won't. It won't. Critical Ramblings for $5. Hail, Gary. Congrats on the move. Can I get a shout out for my vids? Mostly reviews and critiques. Sure. Check out Critical Ramblings. He's got a YouTube channel. I have not seen it, but he asked me to shout him out, and certainly I will do it. And you let me know what you think. But yeah, as far as Anna coming on, we'll get Anna on. We were supposed to have her on, and we had her scheduled, and we had to push her back a week, and then I didn't hear back. So maybe she got busy. But we'll have her on. Gotta work to make more super chat money. Oh God. But stop by to say hi, live long and prosper. Thank you, Douglas Nielsen. And John Blade for the last one, $9.99. I was recently kicked out of Mike Mignola's Facebook art site for calling out a barely veiled Antifa post. His wife is admin on the site. I've seen this in other Facebook comic sites as well. Is this common? It might be, John. Honestly, I have a Facebook group. My son is the monitor there. I usually let pretty much anything go. There is going to be a change in my chat for Friday Night Tights. We're going to try this, by the way, temporarily. You'll be able to say the word fuck. Just don't say it multiple times. And the reason I ask that is I'm not trying to curtail anybody's free speech. I'm trying to keep my channel on, and my live streams get recommended a lot. And I think it's because I don't have a bunch of people saying fuck all the time. But if it's like important for you, you could say it once. It's fine. Just no, F word, bombs, laden, whatevers. And But as far as that's concerned on Facebook, yes, that's happening. I'm sure Facebook, John, is removing it. But Mike Mignola's his wife is probably very sympathetic to that. But yeah, if you see something Antifa, you fucking call it out. And if somebody fucking takes it down, then you call them out for taking down something that wasn't like, dude, if they're threatening to burn down, and it depends on the threat, John. Was it a threat to burn down a business or something? I don't know why she would want to defend that, but the lot of the creatives in the comic book industry do, because they're clueless fucking assholes. Just because they know how to draw comic books doesn't mean they know much of anything about life outside of it. And chances are they don't. The last person on earth I would ask about the business of comics is a comic book artist or a comic book writer, because these people became, some of them, very good at their craft by writing comic books and drawing them, which takes a lot of time by yourself and not a lot of time interacting with people and interacting with real life. And they're not very balanced. So, all right, we're going to have to end it there. I'm sorry, but I got the cable guy coming. And Friday morning, there will be the Super Chat Square Up. I will go live for a little while tomorrow morning for Star Trek Lower Decks, do a Lower Decks review. All right, we're going to start doing the reviews live from here on out. I don't know if I'm going to do a video on each individual episode. I don't think enough happens. I'll probably end up doing a review of like the first half of the season and then the second half of the season in video form. Okay. And then Star Trek Discovery starts up October 15th. I will be doing individual videos and live streams on Star Trek Discovery. That will happen. Umbrella Academy review will finally be out this week, and you're just going to have to put up with me being in my old office and me having a different background in some of it. So, because I had to fix some shit. Thank you very much for sticking with me. God damn. Yeah, for the ghosted live stream. So a lot of people missed this, so they're going to have to go watch it on Nerdrotic Live tomorrow morning. So thank you to the mods, who are Eric K., Lori Wilson, Nihilist Shadow. I wish there was a drop down that showed what mods were here. That would be very useful. But it's okay. Lori Wilson, Eric K., Nihilist Shadow. I saw Mark Lizette. I saw the great Chris Persia, the Canadian Wrench. Who else? Perry Chan was here. Hail Perry Chan. If I missed anybody, this episode was produced by Lady Gravemaster, although I did not see her in there. She might have been taking care of business. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. And then Friday Night Tights, 2 p.m., Jeremy from the Quartering. And tomorrow, 1 p.m., on Critical Drinkers channel, a review of Undiscovered Country. So everybody have a great day. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, not all who wander are lost, and may the wings of liberty never lose a feather. forget to follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/Nerdrotic. I'm over on Parler. Just search for Nerdrotic and give me a follow there. I like it much better than Twitter, but I'm still on Twitter for now, @Nerdrotics. And I have a Facebook group. All you have to do is ask to come in, and we'll let you in. And there's a website, nerdrotic.com. There's also Nerdrotic Live. Don't forget to subscribe there. We are almost at 30,000 subscribers. Thank you again, everyone, and have a great day.